Hello and welcome to the Complete Agent podcast. Again, another week where we aim to educate and entertain our industry to help them get better fees and list the best properties. I'm James Kendall, and as ever, I'm joined by my co-hosts, David Warburton and Ian Storey. How's your week been, lads?
All good, thank you, mate. All good. Bit of a quieter week for me, actually, but some good stuff. I was speaking to Ian, actually, yesterday about this. I've had a busy sort of January with quite a lot of slow-burning properties, slow-burning situations, particularly at the sort of higher end. But I get that a lot in January. I don't know about you lads. I go to a lot, and then sort of February, mainly March, April is mental from stuff that I've been to. And I think it's obviously important that you have a keep in touch policy, because if not, you'll find stuff that you go to in the early months come on later in the year with other agents. So, yeah, for me, it's been a good week. We've sold a couple, exchanged on a couple that were lagging from January, and I've been to quite a few more. And I'll probably, when we come on to the main topic of today's pod, I'll probably talk you through a couple of situations I've had this week in terms of lead gen, because I think it's important. But yeah, overall, good week.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I've had a really good week, actually. I know I mentioned on the pod last week that we had the two sales that were looking like they were going to fall through. It was a connected chain of 2 20-grand fees. Anyway, we've managed to save it this week. We had to save it by reducing one of our fees by 1,500 quid, which I hate doing.
Why was that, Ian?
Because we messed up on the memo and didn't put the right fixtures and fittings on when we agreed the sale.
Right.
So it's a bit of a lesson learned for us there. But what we're going to do now with memos is, other people may do this already, but we're going to create the memo and then we're going to send it to the buyer and seller to approve before we send it to the solicitors. Mm-hmm. So we're going to email it to the buyers and sellers and say, it's a bit like a head to terms contract, with a commercial property. So this is what we've agreed. Please reply to confirm you agree with that, and then send it to solicitors. And then there's no ambiguity in 8 weeks' time when they're talking about the light fittings and the curtains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But nevertheless, because of the size of the fees on both of them, I didn't mind nudging the fee down slightly just to keep it going, because it's a really good completion day. Mm-hmm. So we've basically saved those, and then we've had a good. Yeah, I was just making some notes before we came on. I've got a market ready one, a really nice market ready one at 1.45. Another bungalow at 550, nice village that I went to 2 years ago, and they didn't use us, and it's not sold. So doesn't that just show you about keeping in touch? They'd agreed a sale, it's fallen through a couple of times, not a good communication, so that's come to us. Another really nice one with a bit of land at 950 we've got. Phil's taken 5 on.
Nice.
In quite quick succession, which is good. I've got another market ready one at 1.25. And then the main thing is we've sold 2 that we couldn't sell last year. And I think it really shows how the market's changed. So one of them was on at 850 last year. We had no viewings on it in about 5 weeks. Nothing at all.
Wow.
One booked and cancelled, and then no other viewings. And we'd sold for this client in 2022, and he'd been dead impressed with us, came straight back to us, and we had no viewings. So I said, take it off, do the right move, break, put it back on. We've gone back on off to over 800, because obviously to align with the market, and we've sold it at 820 in a week.
Nice.
And then another one was on at 700 last year. Absolutely no viewings. We did quite a lot of viewings on that, but no offers. And we were saying to them, look, we think you should actually go back on at 650 because the market's changed and to get you a sale. Anyway, she wouldn't let us do that. She wanted us to go back on at 700, and it's sold at 700 this week. And then offers on 3 others. So it definitely feels, like things have picked up a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've seen that as well. There's stuff that was getting a little bit quiet towards the end of last year, and we've come back in January, and there's just a striking number of viewings being booked on them. And I think that is, you're right, quite right. I think it's a sign that the market has turned. And obviously the media controls the confidence of the market, doesn't it? Last year, It was all interest rates are going up. Yeah. Is it a great time to be buying? People are struggling. Are we heading for a recession? And then all of a sudden we have 3 rate holds, base rate holds. And the media are pointing out that a lot of the banks are doing deals now and dropping their own interest rates because they bought in early. And that fuels the market, doesn't it? And we're definitely seeing that. And I think one of the stats that when we were doing the getting ready for the letter that we've just put out for our market clients was that there's 20% more buyers back in the market since the turn of the year. And considering we lost 40% last year, again, according to Zoopla stats, Rightmove stats, I think it's a sign that things have definitely turned. I think it's early days. I do think there's other things that will challenge the market in the months to come, but it's certainly a good time.
I agree. The one that I just referenced, where she's giving it to us to get it market ready at 1.25. Just talking about how the media control the market. She messaged me out of the blue because I went to her last year, and she messaged me out of the blue and just said, "The news tells me the housing market's on the up."
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's incredible. They really do. People believe what they read, don't they, in the papers, and it makes a huge difference to the market when people are talking it up. Huge difference.
Absolutely. What about you, JK?
Mixed bag this week. Some positive stuff happening. It's funny how I've got a few bits and pieces lined up. I've got a really nice passive house. The video I did with the seller.
Great video.
Finished that now. Really great brochure as well. Like the whole package, I think has worked really, really well on that one. And the vendor's super impressed. They've been on the market last year. And you just look at the marketing side by side, it's completely night and day. A couple of other little bits. Another one I took off for another agent where I just kind of kept in touch with the guy I've been speaking to this guy for nearly 2 years. Been on with 2 different agents. Initially didn't win the business because he asked me for a figure over email. And I said, well, I don't really like giving figures over email. I like to see what I'm valuing so I can give you an accurate valuation. And he said, well, I just want something over email. So I said, all right, fine. Well, I'll give you a range over email. That range wasn't high enough. I think I said something like 850 to 9. And it went on the market at $1 million. Came down to 975, 950, 935, switched agents, 935, offers over 9. And I just kind of kept in touch, but also in the background, everything in the village, I would say 70, 80% of what's sold in that village, over 800K, has been with me. And those properties have been with other agents as well. So from my point of view, I am kind of the agent that's selling those homes in the area, kept in touch with him, but I've also kept up to date with what's happening with those homes. So, this is sold, this is just completed, this is just sold, that's completed. I did a viewing off market on it before I'd even taken a photo, actually, on Monday evening at 6:00. And it actually went really well. And the feedback, they were really impressed with the feedback that I gave them. We'll talk about that another time. But week in general, few bits and pieces happening. Another seller that I've been speaking to for the best part of a year, didn't win it last year. Other agent did a cheap fee, hasn't gone anywhere. Told them that they'd sold it, so it came off the market, and then it's now just fallen through. Oh, what? How predictable. So a few bits happening. £3.5 million take on that was supposed to happen today. That's not going to happen now because it's absolutely hammering it down. I suppose overarching, quite positive. But I think there's a lot of people on, as you say, Dave, like there's a lot of positivity in the market, but also equally, I've lined probably 3 or 4 houses to take on the market to hold back and wait until after March the 6th. They're not going to be ready to launch until the end of the month anyway. So they've basically said, what should we do? And I said, well, let's wait till after March the 6th, get the mini budget out the way, the spring budget out the way, and go from there.
Nice. Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
So should we dive in then? So this part of the mini series from 999 to 10K plus. We said last week we talked about how you look in order to actually, it's one thing attracting these clients and getting through the doors, but it's how you look is going to make a difference. So actually, whether they actually invite you out and whether you're actually able to handle those instructions when you're actually through the door. This week, we said we're going to talk about lead gen and how you actually get those calls. And, maybe we'll touch on actually what happens when you get through the door as well, if we've got time. But shall we dive in with lead gen? Do you want to dive in first, Ian? I know you've got 3 things you use, Dave, but do you want to dive in first, Ian, and just say, what, in terms of lead gen, what you do and where you're at?
Yeah. So early on in the company, the main thing that we used to generate new leads was the quality of our marketing of other homes. So the amount of people that we get who say, I've seen, I can tell when it's a Storey's house when it comes on Rightmove before I even look at which agent it's on with. we get loads of people commenting on the quality of the marketing, and that's definitely earlier in. It still does now, but certainly earlier in the company, we didn't really do any lead gen other than trying to convert warm applicants into valuations. So it's the quality of the marketing is a huge lead generation source for us. So that's one of the reasons I'm so fastidious about everything being absolutely perfect when it comes to the marketing of a home. Obviously, it helps get a good price for the seller, but as importantly for the company, it helps generate new business from other clients because they can't believe the level that we go to compared to other agents. So the quality of the marketing is a huge one for me, which ties into what we were saying about finding the money to do a video on every property, and offering Twilight on every single property. Consistency with the quality of the marketing is key. And personal recommendation, word of mouth came second to that. And then when we started sending out the letters, which is about 3 years ago now, 3 years ago, then that's obviously been a huge source. And now we've been sending the letters for so long, it's now just a drip feed. You pretty much know that every time you send out the quarterly update, you're going to get X amount of valuation inquiries off the back of it because we've been sending them for 3 years consistently. So for me, the main ones for us are the quality of the marketing. I can't impress on you enough the quality of the marketing and consistency across everything. Personal recommendations. We get loads of personal recommendations from people that we sold for, and then the letters. And I suppose social media as well, but I know, Dave, you were going to talk about that. But before you do, David, before you do start talking with your lovely voice, I grew the company on Facebook basically for free. So 5 years ago, no one knew who we were. And I just got my ugly mug out on Facebook everywhere I possibly could, unashamedly in front of everyone all the time, organically on Facebook without paying a penny for it. And I grew it on Facebook for free, basically.
Ian, I am more than happy for you to take the lead here on Facebook because genuinely, I admire your Facebook strategy. I mean, I've said many a time before, how are you posting so much stuff? I mean, I think we were on a journey. I think we went to, we went down to Grantham, I think it might have been, and I was driving. And by the time we'd arrived in Grantham, I think you'd posted about 62 times across all different platforms, sharing stuff for other people, etc., getting your name out there. And you definitely have become a popular figure on Facebook. So to be honest, I think you are very, very well placed to talk about the social media aspect if you want to continue there. I mean, mine is more sort of networking in social groups, which I do a lot of, and I get great results from it. But to be honest, I probably need to up my game personally and follow a bit of your lead because you're very busy on it. So go for it.
One of the first things I did on Facebook was friend the shit out of everyone possible in the local area. Excuse my French for those that are listening.
Explicit content.
Yeah, I did actually try to defriend you because I thought, who the hell is this guy?
So I pimped myself out, basically. So I joined all the local groups and I friended everyone. I also I got quite close on social media to some quite key local people. So there's a really good group of local ladies who do like networking and charity fundraising. They're all like middle-class ladies with a nice lifestyle, And I've done quite a bit of work with a few of them, and I've interviewed a few of them on videos and stuff. So they share everything that I do. So that was key, was hooking up with people locally. And obviously it doesn't go unnoticed that they've all got houses that would fit Storey's brand, and they've all got friends that have got houses like that as well. It's enjoyable as well doing it. But of course, you've got one eye on the business side of it. So I friended everyone I possibly could on Facebook. I joined all the local groups. I used to post. We use Jerry Lyons for our social, for our community content.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do as well, James.
Yeah.
So I used to post that into the groups personally, so as if I'd written the blog every week into the local Facebook group. So, hi, Hertford residents, here's my blog on litter picking for this weekend or whatever it is. So I used to do that. I don't really do that as much now because of, obviously how things have moved on, but I used to do that a lot. So basically just pimp yourself out, friend everyone you possibly can on Facebook unashamedly, and get into all the local groups and post stuff that's not salesy. And then we were doing the community interviews as well. Obviously Chris Watkins' idea, we started doing the community interviews, which worked really well, and still do those now. I picked it up again last year, the community interviews. So there's the community interviews as well, which are really, really powerful. But yeah, it was mainly just friending the hell out of everyone and using my personal page to grow it, because you get much better organic reach than you do on a business page. Since then, obviously Holly's joined, which was an amazing coup for us, and she now really is in charge of pumping out the social on the business page. But yeah, I've always done loads on Facebook because it's just so easy and it's free.
Well, given that this is a lead gen type podcast, I think you've touched on some really good stuff there. Obviously, I think it'd be good to focus on something that you did that really transformed your fortunes, got your brand out there. One thing that I use consistently, even to this day, and you're right about the organic reach of a personal post, because a lot of businesses are not allowed into local groups anyway. But with your personal brand that's attached to your business, it's pretty much the same thing. But things that I've found over the years, and I'm not sure whether you agree, guys, but having an opinion is healthy, whether it's something that everybody's going to agree with or not. I think you've got to have an opinion on certain matters in the local communities and get involved. Help people if someone's got a query. If it's not related to property, it doesn't matter. If you can help and make a recommendation of a local tradesman or something like that, anything like that, I always try and get involved in. And obviously, when we've got a property, it's not just posted on the social pages of for our business. I always put it into all the local groups. We obviously do monthly direct mail. We also do quarterly direct mail, the three of us. But I pump a lot of that out into local groups as well. So any blogs that I would do, as you mentioned there, Ian, I know you guys use Jerry. I'm the same. Any blogs that we do, I get it out there. If there's any changes in the market, I'll often put it in local groups just to say, are you aware that this is happening? This is what the market's, this is what the media are reporting at the moment. This is how accurate it is. Because again, we said it in one of our letters, didn't we? What's happening down south might be totally different up north. So it's really important that you're reporting the facts on your local market. And I think social media and the local groups that you're in are a great way of doing that and a great way of getting noticed. And even when you get a little bit of negativity, it's a great way to respond. I've got two great stories actually on that, but I might not do it just this second. But I had one quite recently with a property. For all the right reasons, weirdly. We'd sold a property at a really high level for that street, which a lot of people didn't agree with. And I kind of just wanted to say, well, if you're looking to sell your property and you don't want to get top dollar for it, just don't ring me.
Yeah.
please
don't call me if you want to get a really good price for your house.
Funny that, Dave. Before you carry on, a couple of people, well, more than a couple of people over the last 5 years have commented on how stories, or maybe even me particularly, overinflate property prices locally.
Yes.
And when I hear that, I think, excellent. Please, can you keep saying that? Please, telling people that I'm overinflating property prices. If you want to get the highest price for your house,
absolutely,
then who are they going to call?
And the beauty of this one. Sorry, Ian, do you want to carry on that?
I'll just say one last thing that Dave can, not Dave, what he called the guy in the middle with the glasses and the hair, James.
Harry
on is LinkedIn. James can talk much better than I can about LinkedIn, but the first £1 million listing we got was from LinkedIn, because earlier on I used to do much more on LinkedIn as well. And I used to put blogs in there, and someone picked it up and referred me to their friend who had this £1 million house. So it's not just Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I think with the just quickly on that one with me, it was a house basically that was it was a very big terraced house, and it had gone on for a certain level. We've sold it first week. It had actually been on the market with another agent for 6 months. So the negativity that this received was so good because it had been on the market with another agent for 6 months. I'd sold it first week, and everybody would say, "Oh my God, that is so overpriced." I'm like, "I know, isn't it great? Isn't it fantastic?" Yeah. We've just broken the record on the street, everyone. Saying, "Oh God, the market's ridiculous around here." I know, it's amazing. I've caused it. Sort of thing. But it was so there was quite a lot. Honestly, it must have been posted in about 3 groups, and I spent about 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon responding to lots of different people. And it's one of the best things I've done in ages. At first, your heart sinks a little bit because your advert has been shared and there's a lot of negativity surrounding it. You're thinking, oh, God. But then I started thinking about it. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to educate a few people. So I went into guys, the current pound per square foot for a terrace property in this area is £229. The square foot of this house is da-da-da-da. And it was just a nice educational post. The beauty of it was there was probably there must have been 300 comments. Must have been. Loads of those.
Your brand.
And loads of emojis with the faces wide open, shocked at the price it had gone for, and so like hundreds of the things. So lots of people thinking, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous." But then once I'd put my message on there and responded to a few clients, I started getting a lot of traction then. So I probably had 30 or 40 likes on my comments on my comment saying, "Finally," somebody actually said, "Finally, somebody who understands property and business." The key thing here is the 300 or 400 people that were sort of saying, "Oh my god, that's well overpriced. It's gone for way too much money. What's happened?" They're not my clients.
No.
I don't care. The 30 or 40 that have liked my post and taken the time to comment and support me are my clients. And I actually went to a valuation the week after. It was a £1,050,000 house, and she'd responded to a letter, but she'd seen that Facebook post on the group and was quite impressed with how it'd been handled. So yeah, it was great. It was great. So you can get some negativity on social media, but I just feel that getting involved in the community groups, don't just sit there and observe. Become part of the communities that you're involved in, and post on a personal level, and make sure that you're consistent with it, as Ian has said. I have got another story as well, which is great. I'll save it for another time because it was a negative turned into a major positive, but I'm aware of time, so we'll save that one.
So I was going to jump in now and say that the comment you made about them not being your clients, I've got some good stories on that as well, and I'll dive into those quickly as well. But you've got to be prepared to lose 80% of your audience to find your 20% raving fans. And you're better off being, again, having that opinion on Facebook. Because I was always very much previously very vanilla, don't want to offend anyone on Facebook, don't want to tarnish the company's reputation by having an opinion on something. But then all you end up being is a vanilla ice cream, and would you rather sell 10 million choc chip, or would you rather be like 50 people have vanilla, anyway. So we've had negativity on Facebook before. Again, about prices, with having what are you laughing at me for?
What was that analogy?
Analogy was that? I think it's best we move on.
Well, no, bottom line is, do you want to be vanilla and no one wants you and you're nothing to no one, or would you rather be the mint choc chip in someone's life that they absolutely love and crave and are prepared to pay double the price for?
It's so tough because I like them both in equal measure.
Says more about you than it does about everyone else.
Such a bad analogy, but I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
Right, Coronation Street. Yeah, this isn't the Coronation Street podcast for anyone that's tuned in by accident. So again, a couple of negatives that come into positive. Don't need to go over it because we are talking about lead gen, but it has directly helped me. Like Rich, it wasn't actually one of my houses; it was one of Richard's houses, and we put it up in a town. We were instructing the town like 20 miles from our patch. And they'd approached us because they'd seen our marketing on Facebook. So I guess it is directly correlated to lead gen. Rich is really good at sharing his stuff into Facebook groups. This guy had been watching his videos, was on the market previously with another agent, awful potato photos. I know I say that all the time, but you know the classic. Got us out. We did the video, put it on Facebook. A local agent actually was one of the people that commented and went, 600 grand, no chance. I've still got the screenshot as well, by the way. 600 grand, no chance. I valued that 450 max. We sold it in a week to a cash buyer from London.
Amazing.
So up yours, Mr. Agent locally. You know nothing. But yeah, just on Facebook quickly, because we've done a lot on Facebook. Facebook is a great place. Share to local groups. Make sure you share all of your videos. Don't share pictures of properties necessarily to local groups because people go on Rightmove for that. But the videos I think are really powerful and great because people are nosy. They like to watch. And also, if you guys are doing reels, chuck them in the groups because the reels on Instagram, none of us here are breaking like over 2,000 followers on Instagram at the moment, right? But if you're under 2,000 followers, make sure you post the reels organically to Facebook separately from Instagram and share them into the groups, because on Instagram, we've seen maybe 400 or 500 plays, maybe max on our average reel. But on Facebook, by sharing them into the groups, we've had some hit 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000 in some cases, all from free organic reach. One of the things that, I mean, obviously, Ian, I'd say you're really strong on Facebook out of all of us. So you probably covered quite a lot. One of the things I'm really strong on, and people know me for, is LinkedIn. Yeah. And a lot of business that I get comes off the back of LinkedIn, and it's not asking for the business, but I think it's that mid to high end of the market. A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of high level management, those sorts of people are hanging out on LinkedIn rather than Facebook, because a lot of people have got, imagine you've got a high profile job, or you're entrepreneur and you don't want people seeing your personal life on Facebook. There's a good chance that you're either hidden on Facebook or you're not on Facebook full stop, because you don't want to be part of that party. Whereas they'll more likely hang out on LinkedIn because they're connected with people professionally. And now LinkedIn was always seen as a recruitment platform, and it's kind of, ever since Microsoft bought it a few years back, it's much more kind of Facebook 2007. Do you remember when you could get that organic reach where you would post something and loads of people would see it without having to pay for it? LinkedIn is very much organic growth. So one of the best strategies that I've had on LinkedIn is posting valuable content to people. So and to kind of double down on Facebook again as well, what we were saying in terms of having an opinion on someone's post, commenting on someone's post, connecting with influential local people that are busy on LinkedIn and have got a good kind of local following, can lead to all sorts of different things. Because once, remember back in the day on Facebook, you could see like Dave Warburton has commented on someone's post, and then you'd then look at that post. LinkedIn is very much like that now. So I'll comment on someone's post and my network will see it. But also equally, a lot of people post on my things that I put up there, and all of their network sees it. And then I'll get, one of the things that I then do is I get loads of views on my profile, and everyone that views, because you can see who's viewed your profile, everyone that's viewed my profile, I just add them as a friend or add them as a connection. And then if they comment or like or do anything on my my content, I always connect with them. Once they've accepted, I'll just send them a quick message and say, "Oh, hi, Ian. Thanks for comment on and engaging on my content. Really appreciate it. Hope you're well. Good to connect." And then just leave it there. No sales pitch or anything like that. But it's also, posting things of like buyer campaigns. So we gave away the buyer letter the other week, but double down in that on social media. Asking for say somebody. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn, so I've had £1 million listings from LinkedIn where I've posted up 3 different buyers that I've got that are looking for homes on LinkedIn, tagged like other agents, like Scracy, like Harding Green, like all agents across the country, and said, "Oh, anyone got any buyers for, or anyone anyone connected with this?" And it just grows, and all of a sudden, I find it, because on those posts, you're never going to get 10, 15, 20, 30 comments, but you are going to get WhatsApp messages. So always make sure there's a call to action. Here's my email. Here's my mobile number. Text me, WhatsApp me. Be prepared to put those posts out and get no likes, no comments, no engagement, but look out for your phone. Like, Matt, I could show you so many messages on my phone from WhatsApp where people have messaged me and gone, "Hey, James, saw you post." Because the thing is, they don't want their whole network to see they're looking for a house, or the whole network to know that they know someone that's looking for a house. They don't want to broadcast that. So then, you get a message in your inbox, and then, it's then down to you then as a good salesperson to convert that person into a lead and move forward.
I think what you've just said as well there, James, it's quite important. You've just said something there without probably realizing it, but the network that you've got and created there, it's literally a network of agents nationally. So when you're going to see your high net worth clients, you're not just saying, "I'm sticking your house on Rightmove and Zoopla and hoping for the best." You're actually saying, "I've got a massive network of clients." Whether it's on LinkedIn or in a black book, you've got a massive network of clients that you can promote that property to. So it's just another layer.
And that's important when you're competing with the likes of Savills and Jackson Stops.
Of course it is.
They always say how they've got a network of offices, don't they, across the country, across the globe. I've only just really picked up on that day because I had that the other day with someone talking about Savills. So that's a great way of countering that, isn't it? That we have a network of agents across the country as well, all on my mobile phone in my pocket. I think one thing. So I'm just conscious of time today. So we're running through lead gen sources, aren't we? So quality of marketing, outbound marketing, social media. We've just been discussing the letters. Yeah, maybe you can pick up on letters, Dave. Personal recommendations, and then let's not forget converting people who call to book a viewing into a valuation. I mean, that's definitely something that you should be doing. If the stories were selective, so we don't take anything on, so the team know they've got to quickly check if the property is going to be right for us. But if it is, then we'll convert them into a val. One thing with the personal recommendations that I've just scribbled down is you need to be memorable. So make sure that you are being memorable to these clients that you're going to meet, because they will recommend you. I had one on Monday, a £2.75 million house. Not totally sure if I'll get it, but nevertheless, and also it's very, very, very high end that for us. But nevertheless, beautiful, grade 2 listed, 17 acres, lovely, beautiful old house. And I told the lady she needs to change her carpet in the hall because it's red. And she's got dark furniture, and you walk in, it feels like you're walking back in time. And the photographs from the previous agent really look old and dated. And she was a bit taken aback. Polite. I did it all politely. She took it well, and I said to her, she's got to paint a couple of rooms where she's got like flowery wallpaper and stuff, and she took it okay. But what I do, whether I get it or not, I've been memorable there, and I will definitely stick with
an opinion.
Yeah, so she will speak to her friends who, lots of whom will also have houses like that, and she, I will stick in her mind definitely there from this week.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to be honest with people. At the end of the day, you're selling their biggest tax-free asset. Mm-hmm. I went to one midweek on a mid-range brand, and it'd been on the market with another agent last year. I looked at the photos. The photos were utterly dreadful, but clearly they'd gone into the appointment, took the mobile phone out and just taken pictures, and honestly, they were just, how would you say it politely? There was crap everywhere. It's just like one of the photographs was in the dining room, which was actually quite a nice space, and it's like there was a JD bag in the corner on the photograph, a JD sports bag. And it's almost like there was too much stuff in the corner and they didn't want to get it on the photograph. So they elevated the camera and pointed down on it and just tried to
move it when you can move the camera?
Oh, yeah. So the conversations I had with her were probably refreshing for her in a way, but also you are bordering on that. I don't want to insult you or upset you. But at the end of the day, we're no longer selling your house. We're selling your buyer's next home. So we need to present the lifestyle that your home is going to give these people. And right now, it screams that there's no storage space in this house. And it's not a good family home to be brought up in. And we need to change that. So I think you're right, Ian. You've got to have these,
everything, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to have these conversations. But I just picked up on another thing you said there. And I know we've lingered on social a little bit here, but the quality of the marketing is very important, and the type of marketing you do that's very important if you're looking to break into the mid to higher end. Touched on it last week, but if you're putting leaflets through terraced houses, guess what you're going to attract? And if you keep listing terraced houses and semi-detached houses, guess what you're going to attract? So you need to send out a quality piece of marketing. So any contributions that you're having in these social groups needs to be high level, doesn't it? It needs to be different, and you need to be educating your market. So I think you do need to be talking more about what the market's doing from a statistical point of view, because the majority of people that you do speak to will be very interested in that. Certainly at a high level, entrepreneurs, high level executives, they will understand the logic in the market. They'll understand statistical data.
Yeah, they will. One thing that I always hate is when you get the company or me gets tagged in a post where someone's asked for a recommendation for an estate agent in a local group.
God,
you know the type of post.
Yeah.
You get all the poor agents getting mentioned by their mates, and you think, I wish someone just hadn't bothered tagging me, because tell you now, I've never been. Our clients do not put a post on Facebook saying,
no, they don't.
Have you got a recommendation for an estate agent? They ask their friends at the golf club or the dinner party or the school.
Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah.
They don't put it on Facebook. So if you're ever getting asked and tagged on Facebook groups, you're probably not going to the right houses.
Yeah. We've had a few of those over the time, but I think the thing is we've got quite a good one of the things with us, because, and I don't know if you did the same, Ian, when lockdown happened. I know you did a lot with the community, but with the printing for schools that we did in lockdown, that brought us massive community kudos with the community, and I think there's still people that recommend us based on the fact of what we've done for the community.
Yeah.
Whether they're the right house. I mean, literally, it's lovely when you open Facebook. It's literally like you say, you open it up and you're like, it's probably not mid to high end clients. Well, it's not. It's not. It never is. That's the reality. But it is still nice. It is social proof, because sometimes those people do see those posts, even if they don't interact with them, and they go, well, they are. It's another layer, isn't it, to get in. Recommended. I'm just conscious again of time. I know we've mentioned that a lot this week. What about if we dive into a direct mail quickly again? Dave, you've just written this month's on market letter, which I think is an absolute cracker, by the way, for us and our paying clients. And I'm really excited to send that out, actually, because I think there's a lot of great data in there, and there's a real great pattern interrupt, because there's a lot of people that, myself included, do send out certain standardized letters over certain weeks using things like Spectre or Home Search or whatever. But I think it's a great pattern interrupt to get that through your door with that level of detail and the tone of voice, without trying to blow smoke up your backside. I thought it was a really good piece. So
Thanks,
you obviously wrote it, and why don't you take the floor and talk to us about it?
Yeah, so direct mail, first of all, we've done a full podcast on this, so I don't want to go over too much more. But so if you are listening and this is the first time you have listened, we have done a podcast on direct mail, but equally reach out to us, happy to offer any advice on this. But for me, direct mail is viewed as old hat. Since social media has come along, most people think that that is the way forward, as you've got to post on social media 15 times a day. There's lots of people watching what Gary Vee does, etc. And they're right. You do need to be on social media a lot. That's why we spent so much time on it today. But direct mail for me has been the single biggest influence on my business over the last few years. There's no doubt about that. It's a great way of building your brand, becoming an authority, and targeting the right type of properties. You've just alluded to the on the market letter. Now, to be quite honest with you, I think you're the same, JK, but over the last couple of years, not really been sending many on the market letters.
Pointless.
Because, everything's been selling. Obviously, throughout COVID, everything was selling very, very quickly as soon as it went on the market. So there was probably a lot of the time no point writing to people that were on the market, because you knew as soon as it went on, it was just going to sell relatively quickly anyway. There might be a few lingering after sort of 12, 16 weeks that we'd target, but we didn't send them en masse. But right now, I think that 2024 is the year of the on-the-market letter. I think that it's coming back.
We're shifting, isn't it?
Yeah, because what you'll find is that there'll be a lot of agents that have become complacent. They have been taking photographs on their potato, as you like to put it, James, and they will be taking horrible photographs. Some of them, I mean, how many adverts do you see without floor plans? People that don't go into the detail that we do with home staging, brochures, high-level photography, presenter-led videos, etc., pre-launch packs, everything. They won't go into this. And in fairness, you'd have got away with it in 2021 and 22 to a certain extent, because there were so many buyers looking to buy homes and not enough homes coming to the market. That's all changing. So if you were doing that in 21, 22, and you're still doing it in 2024, I think you're going to lose more. I really, really do. Gone are the days where you can massively overvalue and under-deliver and give poor marketing. So the letters that we write are very, very statistical. They are very, very subtle. So it's not in-your-face marketing like we do. I won't be writing to a client to say, you have been on the market for 16 weeks with X agent. We do amazing marketing. We have just sold everything in this street. Our percentage of asking price is this. We are wonderful. There's none of that.
Like a free no obligation valuation. Get in there.
That's different.
No fee.
It's a free valuation. Oh, really? You can offer me a free? I thought I was going to pay for that privilege. So yeah, it's an educational piece. It is updating them on what is happening in the current market. Ian, what you saying? Let's just say it. Ian's now holding up a sheet of paper for those listening, saying, "I gotta go."
I gotta
That's
go.
fine, mate.
I'll leave you
get
to
going.
it.
Take care, mate.
Be soon.
So yeah, it's an educational piece, and it's basically talking about the market trends at that time and how it might affect them in the market right now, so that they can make informed decisions. So if you're writing to a property that's been on the market, say 4 to 8 weeks, it's not a massive amount of time, but they have come back in January and not had many viewings, the statistics that we're reporting are that Rightmove are showing a massive increase in activity. So there's been a 20% uplift in activity online with new buyers registering. Asking prices on average, according to the Rightmove House Price Index, have dropped. So it's suggesting that a lot of homeowners across the country now are starting to adapt to this new market and become more realistic with their asking prices. And we're taking this statistical data. There's loads more, by the way. There's so much data out there. HPI data, there's pound per square foot data, there's Zoopla index, etc. We're taking this information, giving it to the client and showing them how it affects their current situation and what they can do to change their fortunes without saying, let me be the agent that changes your fortunes. In fact, in one of our letters, it tells them not to change agent, doesn't it? Because there should be no need to. There should be no need to change your agent after only 4 to 8 weeks. But I find that subtlety is the best way. I think one of the lines in it is, no doubt you've been getting this feedback from your agent. No doubt you've seen a massive uplift in viewings. Now, if they have, they'll be just agreeing with it, nodding along, going, yeah, that's great, we have. If they've not, they'll be thinking, you're telling me all this. I've not actually heard any of this from my agent. And to be quite honest with you, the majority of agents won't be doing that. They don't. We've said it before. They don't like delivering bad news when things aren't going quite well, and a lot will become complacent, especially if you're a high volume agent. So there are a lot of high volume agents out there in areas, and they just have high turnover. So they might list 25 a month on low fees. They'll sell 15 and have 10 unhappy clients, and they're happy with that, and they'll just churn them out. They'll factor in losing a certain amount of clients every month, and that's what you're going for. They're not all quick wins. I think that's the other thing, JK. I mean, you and I got a similar business model. We prefer high quality, lower volume. I think it's fair to say, and a lot of these are not quick wins, but it's all about the consistency of the marketing. Because I think if you're solely focused on going for quick wins, you're going to get poor quality properties coming to the market. You'll always be consistently chasing a fee, and you've got to play the long game. It's particularly if you want the mid to higher end. The higher end, essentially. If you want the higher end properties, I think you've got to play the long game. I don't know how much time we've got today, JK, but
we're good. I was all going to say is, I was going to jump in. What's interesting, you mentioned something there about the higher volume agents, and I think one of the other things as well is that not just, the classic corporate crap photos, crap marketing, crap communication, like bang it against the wall and see it sticks. But there are a few independents that are kind of high volume, low fee as well. But one of the things that certainly where I am, there are quite a few high volume, low fee agents that their marketing on the outside actually looks quite good. They're not that I would say, they're probably a 6.5, 7 out of 10 if I'm being like super critical. If I place our marketing 9.5, maybe a 10, depending on what we do. But on the outside, if you're Joe Blogs, you might look at it and go, for half the price, let's give them a go. But what is interesting, and again, we've gone 44 minutes without mentioning Simon Gates, so I think it's only right that we mention him. I'm being paid to do this. I'm not ready, but so what was interesting is I get stats from him every month, and our stats from 2023 January up to the latest data, which is available on 20EA, up to February. For our area, the average home, then there was a stat that's been banded around Facebook, I think, of around 50% of properties that came to the market last year didn't move. In our area, only 53.69% actually agreed at an offer. 47% or 47.5% actually exchanged contracts. And it's what I find interesting is our stats are, I think, well, Simon, I know he obviously as a client there to blow smoke, but he said genuinely not blowing smoke. Our SSTC rate, so everything we put on the market in that time that we listed, 93.9% went under offer on Rightmove, sold subject to contract. And then 74.26 of that actually exchanged. So, obviously you can't account sometimes for people changing their mind or, and we actually, out of those, we had a portfolio landlord that listed 4 or 5 exec homes for a few weeks and then withdrew them. So obviously that's going to skew the figures, but, gross figures are gross figures. But as you say, as you alluded to, like in the letter, you are, we talked about Gary V earlier, you are jab, jab, jab and hooking because you're literally talking about what should be happening, what the market's doing, you're educating and informing them. And then basically what you're saying without saying it is, look, these are all the things that should be happening. This is what you should be being told. This is what's happening on the ground. But if it's not, right at the end of the letter, if it's not going away or, you just want to have a quick chat, have a 10-minute chat with me, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it absolutely. The subtlety is key, and just not almost in a strange way, not expecting them to pick up the phone immediately. That's not what we're doing here. It is a longer game, and I think you can play the longer game now with on the market stock because there'll be so much overpriced stock. But they a lot of the time they don't know why their property is sitting there. You've just alluded to it. Some of the marketing might be quite good. If they've got a good photographer, it might actually be quite good. It's just that the advice they've been given on price or strategy might have been poor. They might not have the LinkedIn network, JK. Anything. The marketing obviously is extremely important, and that's going to get people to see the advert. But delivering statistical data that will allow these people to make informed decisions about price. Good example, right? I'm going to one. I'm going to one on Friday. Okay, he's on the market at the moment for 850,000 with a very well-known national chain. The house looks okay. It looks a little bit dated, and he's been on the market for quite a few months with only a few viewings. He's received my. It wasn't actually an on-the-market letter. It was a not on-the-market letter. So he's received one of the quarterly updates. And he rang me. He's kept it since Christmas. And he said to me, everything that he said really resonated with what my thoughts are on the market. And I'm a bit confused as to why we're not getting the interest that we're getting. He said, but everything you've said is true. I just want somebody to come in, tell me what I need to do to get this house sold, because it has to be sold. He said, if I need to change some of the decor, remember, a lot of the time at this end of the market, you're talking to wealthy individuals, successful individuals. They've got money. So he's saying to me, if you come round on Friday and tell me that I need to change the carpets, paint the walls, do something with my kitchen to make this a more saleable home and it will genuinely get me more money, I will do it. If you come round and tell me that it's 50 grand overpriced, that's fine. Justify it. Tell me what you need to do to get it sold. And I'm thinking, this is probably going to be the easiest valuation I will ever go to because I've already told him everything he needs to know in the letter. I'm now going to go round to his house. He's not going to need to do anything because ultimately the price will dictate what it sells for. If he starts spending 25, 30 grand on a kitchen, not only will he lose time, it's probably only going to add the same amount of value. So the conversation's probably going to be around, yes, I can massively improve your marketing, but I'm afraid that we probably need to look at your number. And it's going to be such an easier conversation because this guy has been getting our quarterly update letters. He knows what we're all about. He then goes to our website. We spoke last week about how do we look. We sell his type of home. And now I'm going into his home on Friday, I think, with a leg up. It's going to be a lot easier to win that instruction. I feel like I've already won it, genuinely, with the conversations we've had. But the key here is the information in the letter needs to be non-salesy. I think you've just alluded to a similar statistic, if it was this exact one, but in the letter, we've written a staggering statistic from 2023 was that only 50.89% of properties that came to market actually sold. If this isn't a sign that homeowners need to act differently, I don't know what is. Now, if you read that as a homeowner that's been on the market for 3 months, it's quite powerful. And then you're talking about what actions you can then take. You'd probably want to be picking up your phone to your agent at that point saying, I didn't know that only 51% of houses had sold last year. I don't want to be in that bracket. I don't want to be part of the 49% that didn't sell. Other things like, did you know that a reduced property, according to Rightmove, is 10% less likely to sell? Now, we can debate these stats all day long, but these are being reported by the biggest industry figures like Rightmove, who are very, very influential on the market. So we need to be telling them that. We need to be, again, right, I'm just looking at the letter now. At the start, it says, as expected, buyers returned to the market in their droves, and the number of sales agreed soared by 20%. So, again, statistical data provided by Rightmove, sales are up 20% in January. If you're reading that and you're still on the market in January or you've hardly had any interest, it's a red flag, isn't it? So you're reporting information that the likelihood is the current agent is probably scared to do, and it's just going to lead to more people speaking to you. Now, as I said, JK, we send these out from about 4 weeks, don't we? And you're not going to win these people after 4 weeks usually.
No.
It's a consistent thing that you need to do, and you need to be sending them out. So we send quarterly letters to people that are not on the market without fail. Every single quarter, people in the right council tax bands that we want to write to receive our letters. And you use the term compound interest. And it's such a great way. That's a better analogy than the one that you tried earlier.
Not a very vanilla one, no.
Yeah. But it's absolutely true. You're not going to win these people, but I think you said that somebody had a stack of your letters not so long back when you went to view it. They're not all quick wins. And, I got a phone call last night. I was telling you, I'll not name the person who it is, but it's quite a high profile political figure. Last night, and it was 8:30 in the evening, and I got this phone call, and he introduced himself as the person he is and would know, and my heart was racing a little bit. I was like, why the hell are you ringing me? How have you got my number? And he said, I got your letter. It was really interesting. Totally agree with it. He's a conservative, whether you agree with that or not. And he said to me, we are not thinking of moving just yet. It's probably going to be a couple of years. But I would really value opinion on my home as to what I could perhaps do to it, whether we do the work now, whether you think it's worth it. It's a grade 2 listed building. It's in the middle of a field. It's highly valuable. And he said, look, if you're in, we had a really good chat. He'd just come out of the Home Office, this guy, and he was going for a curry. And we had a really good chat on the phone. And he said, look, if you're in the area sometime, come and see me. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's book in an appointment. Let's sit down, chew the fat. I'll come for a brew, and I'll tell you exactly what you want to know about your home. How many people is that guy going to know? Come on.
Yeah.
So I'll happily go and sit with him for 2 hours, even if it means I don't get to sell his house for 3 years. And, if you're listening to this and you're just starting out, or you're thinking about going into mid to high end homes, some of it is a long game. You've got quick wins. We've not touched on things like door knocking, which is a really obvious thing. Instant valuation tools, which I don't like, certainly for higher end homes. Buyer letters are great. We've not touched on all of that, and if we want to quickly go through it, James, that'd be great. But it is you've got to play the longer game as well. Can I do one more?
I was going to jump in and just say, like, obviously we're getting to a time now where I think we probably just need to box off what people can do and just kind of break it down. So there's a lot of info to unpack there, and a lot of things that we've kind of gone through. What's 3 things? Like, again, you've got different. I think, as I said before we started to hit record, depending on where you're at in your business, depends on what you can do. So, if you're let's say a self-employed agent listening to this, and you've got time but you haven't got money, then perhaps you should be looking at, if you could still invest in update letters and doing this and maybe delivering them by hand if you haven't got the money to spend on printing and stamps, etc. But maybe your focus then could be using the free aspect of social media and looking at things like door knocking. What do you say on the door knock is probably a whole other podcast, but door knocking and even small amounts of direct mail can have quick wins for you. But I think the majority of, I'd say, our clients and the people in our Facebook group are independent estate agency business owners, 1/sometimes 3-4 offices that are looking to move into the mid to higher end space. And what you need to look at is you do need to invest in your business in terms of a lead generation strategy. And, it's one thing like last week, looking like a mid to high end agent and feeling like a mid to high end agent. But then you need to invest the time and energy in getting those clients to give you a call and looking at things like, so today, what's one thing you can do? Well, you could reach out to us and you can become a member of the Complete Agent, and we'll give you everything that we've got to start that journey for you and help you do it. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to get going, again, you're listening to this thinking, right, something I want to do, something you can do today. If you've got a mid to high end property, you could market that on Facebook, do what we've said, post it into the local groups, maybe even put some money behind it, get in front of the right sort of people. Direct mail, it's difficult to write yourself. And what you've got to remember is, guys, you're listening to this, I've been doing direct mail for probably about four years.
Yep.
And refining your message, because I've seen some of the things that are going out in the post, from other agents that I know, from opening mail that sellers have given me and said, look, I've had this from this agent here. Have you seen this? And it is literally, it's like you said earlier, Dave, we can sell your house. We do this. We are amazing. We can give you a free valuation, a fresh approach leaflet through the door.
Yeah, same old.
Clip art with lemon splash, Do you need a fresh approach?
Yeah, it is important. Honestly, for anyone listening, I've had a few people reach out to me over the last few weeks saying, obviously we've given away a free buyer letter, which has been very successful for all of us.
For those that have used it as well.
Say that again, sorry?
I said for those that have used it, I guarantee you, and I'm going to start tagging people this week for accountability. The amount of people have gone, oh, great, thanks, mate, great letter. Done absolutely nothing with it. So if you're in that group and you've asked for it, just be aware, I'm going to tag you soon.
What I was going to say on that is direct mail, it's not for everyone in terms of writing the content. No. I enjoy writing it. It also gives me a sense of focus. I mean, I do a lot of my research and it keeps me up to date on market conditions. It's almost like revising for an exam. You go away, get all the statistical data, put it down on paper in a form that talks to your audience. It's something that I like doing, but it's not for everyone. I get that. But what I can say categorically, because it's not just worked for me, it's worked for clients, but it's worked incredibly well for the three of us, James, is that you have to do it. If you're not doing it, you have to find a way to do it. And if you're not the person that's going to be writing it and doing it, invest in someone that will.
Yeah.
It's so, so important. And I promise you, anyone that's listening to this, it will change your fortunes. You'll definitely get through more doors of the homes that you want to sell. We're all speaking from experience. That's not a sales pitch. We're all speaking from experience.
That's facts.
Just do it yourself. Do it yourself. If you can do it, take the time to do it, because it will transform your business. They enable you to become an authority in your area. And I think agents working behind closed doors is becoming more and more popular. It has been for some time now. A lot of people don't open high street offices. I know you have one, James. Not so much a high street office, but it's a front-facing office.
Yeah.
I'm serviced office, and it's such a great way of getting your brand out there and becoming an authority in your area. So I cannot recommend it highly enough, and I'll never apologize for going on about it, because direct mail is a game changer. So just finishing off, James, I suppose, there's so many different lead gen strategies that we could sit here and talk about all day that we've probably not fully discussed. And we've not, as you said, gone into door knocking and stuff. If you do need quick wins, when you're first starting out, it's one of the best ways, isn't it? Go and speak to people, your local network as well. Speak to all your local network, tag businesses, speak to businesses. But for me, the three consistent things that we do without fail is, number one, direct mail. Number two is social media. Not as relentless as Ian, I've got to say, and I would love to be. Need a bit more of that in me. But certainly in terms of participation in groups, pre-launching properties into groups, we do full of pre-launch, things like that. Social media is an important strategy you need to get. And for me, database nurture. So just, you will register lots and lots of viewers. You'll register people all the time, and you'll have sold properties over the years. You need to keep in touch with these people. Your database is gold, and it's so important that you look after it, because if you don't, they'll go elsewhere. They really will. So I think you need to be building data all the time and put some emphasis on that. And I think if you nail those three things, you'll have a really, really good business. There's so many other layers. Like I say, I've not been door knocking for years. I'll be dead honest with you. Not been door knocking for years. Not really had to. And I say I've not had to. You should do. I know Rich Bray, who works with you, he loves it, and he'll pretty much do it every day when he's in an area. And I take my hat off to him, because I think you should. Especially if you're in an area where there's a great board or whatever. So it should probably form a consistent part of what you do. But if you're like a business owner and you just start trying to set up consistent lead generation tactics, for me, direct mail, social media, and putting a lot of emphasis into building your database and keeping in touch with that database is the way forward. What about you, JK? What would your three? To
be honest, I probably echo pretty much what you've said. Like the social media, get videos, look the part. Make sure you're doing presenter led, so your face is out there on social media.
100%.
You touched on Rich there quickly. Like Rich, he goes and gets his dry cleaning done in his local town. And I remember once, this is ages ago, when he first started out, walked in there and the guy was watching the video in the dry cleaning shop of him, like, through the houses, because he just said, I love watching your videos. No intention of buying a house or selling, but it's just another person that's like enjoying and watching the content. So social media definitely up there. Direct mail without a doubt. But it's, again, without going too deep, it is not just only the message within the marketing or the medium, it is the both of them together. You need both of the right obviously the right market, the right medium. So how you present that through somebody's front door is massive. Is it franked? Is it handwritten? There's so many different...
Quality of paper, JK, is important.
That's what I mean. All of these different things. What does it touch and feel like to somebody that's getting it through their door? And once you've convinced, a bit like emails, once you convince someone to open it, are they going to read it? And then, I guess the third thing, like kind of similar to what you'd say, is work your existing database and the people that are actively out looking for a house. If they've got one to sell and it's not on the market, then, have a conversation, over service these people and get your foot through the door.
Absolutely. God, there's so much more.
Right, I think it's a good place to call it there, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just saying, I've got so much more written down here that I could just carry on, but I'm aware we'll be here all day. So hopefully people got something out of that. I appreciate we just come here and talk, but we're just dead passionate about agency, and it's nice to hear everybody's, how you guys are doing and what you're doing. But I think we're all consistent in what we do things similarly. And I would always say, if anybody listens to this and wants any advice, any help, please do get in touch, and we'll talk to you about how we can do that for you.
And check out the completeagent.co.uk website that's just gone live. So if you're interested in some help and what we do and how much it costs and what's involved, check it out. But otherwise, thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
See you later. Bye, Ian.